All right, continuing with our service series on the Freedom PS21, we're going to focus on removal and replacement of the convection blower. So the convection blower is also referred to as a distribution blower. It's also referred to as a room air fan or a circulating blower. So as you can see, this is an open squirrel cage blower that goes all the way down. And we're going to show you how we go about pulling that out and replacing it. So the very first thing that we're going to do is, again, make sure this stove is unplugged from the wall when we're working with any of the circuitry. So once we have it unplugged, we're going to take out the electrical plug that is directly on the motor. So it's just a snap fit Molex. There's only one way that can go in, pulls right out. Next up, we're going to grab our Allen wrenches. Again, you want to have a nice set of metric Allen wrenches. We have 2 bolts. One right there. And again, I am looking at the unit. If I was facing the stove, this is from the right-hand side. So these shouldn't be too stuck on there. If they are, squirt them down with a little WD-40. But for the most part, these should be pretty easy to bust loose. And we want to be able to take these Allen bolts all the way out. So we got one done. We got one more on this side. Second one's tucked back just a little bit more. But again, once we have it loose, you should be able to really unthread these with your fingers. Let's see if I can get a little better view of Nate's hand in there. Yeah, cool. Great, so we got those 2 out. We're gonna loop over to the other side. We've got 2 bolts on the other side. So as you can see, this blower is mounted to what we call like a mount plate. So we're leaving the blower on the mount plate, and we are pulling out the bolts that are securing that mount plate to the base of the stove. So again, just busting those loose. And again, always good if you do have the ability to move the stove away from the wall a little bit to give yourself a little bit more room. That's always super helpful. All right, so now that we have all 4 of the bolts out, 2 on the left, 2 on the right, we're gonna go back around to the other side. And the blower is completely loose now, so we're just going to grab it by the motor. We're gonna move it a little bit to our right, just like that, and then it's gonna slide all the way out. So again, it is important to periodically pull out this fan. I mean, it depends on if you have pets and how much dust and so forth is in the house, but as you can see, that will accumulate on the fins right here. So to keep the motor circulating, giving proper CFM, and to also make sure that it stays in balance, we do recommend that we clean these fins on this particular blower on a regular basis. Compressed air works well, as well as a dry paintbrush when you are looking to clean this. So that's how that blower pulls all the way out. We're gonna go ahead and put it back in and show you that process in reverse. Before we do that, I'm gonna show you this mount plate on the bottom. So if I'm replacing the blower, it's going to be the blower only. So we want to make sure that we still have this mount plate. So on the bottom side, we have a very small Allen screw. And on the top right here, we have these very small nuts. So Nate is just going to grab a pliers. He's going to hold it on the nut right there. And he's just got a needle nose in here. You can obviously use a wrench or a crescent. And then on the bottom side of this, all right, bottom side of this, we just have an Allen. So we're just going to show you how one loosens up and comes off. But ultimately, you're going to need to, if you are replacing the blower, you'll need to pull off all 4 of these, and then again, you'll secure the new blower on the new mount plate. So we can go ahead and we can put that back in there, Nate, re-secure it, and we will put the blower back in place. But yeah, always good to have like a needle nose up top, so that way the nut's not spinning as we're loosening up that little Allen bolt right there. And again, have patience with yourself. There we go. Again, do tighten these down snugly. We want to make sure that that motor is nice and secure. You don't need to over crank them. But now that it's on that mounting plate, let's go ahead and slide this distribution blower back in there. So again, just make sure all the wires are out of the way as you start to slide it in. Again, on this lip right here, you'll see that lip, and that lip kind of tucks in, right? And so we'll do that on the left side and the right side, and as we do that, you'll see the bolt holes down below line up nicely. So let's just move over to the other side real quick. We'll get that into proper position over here. So we're just gonna push that right in to that cavity. We're gonna line up our bolt holes. And again, same thing with this one. We're just gonna put those bolts in there, and we are going to leave them fairly loose until we've got all four in place. Yeah, just finger tightening them until we've got everything lined up, and then we'll give them a nice snug down. Great. Let's go over to the other side, get those two in, and then we'll go ahead and tighten them down and get the electrical back in place. All right, hit the last one. Good. Grab the Allen wrench and let's lock them down. Good, nice and snug. Let's go ahead and plug in the electrical, and then we'll snug up the other side. And right there, again, this Molex connector for our electrical only goes in one way. It'll push in nice and flush. You'll hear a small click as it goes in. Back over on the other side. Just getting these secured down. And that is going to be how we go ahead and pull out that distribution blower, our convection fan. At least once a season, we recommend pulling that blower out to clean the fan blades on it. If you have lots of pets, or if there's a good amount of dust within the house, then we do recommend checking that and inspecting it more frequently. Again, the cleaner that we can keep those fin blades, the more of that warm air that's going to be pumping out into the house, and the longer that this blower is going to last. But that will be the replacement of the distribution fan on the Freedom PS21. If you have questions or concerns, leave us a comment down below. We're always here, we're always happy to help, and we look forward to seeing you soon.